All right, Shalom. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HARAKAH, QADASH, and double honors to the elders and the apostles who rule well and teach well, and salutations to the hopeful elect and the men out there laboring in truth and in sincerity. This video is called The Story of Good Against Evil. All right, so I'm going to be going into a few, well, really a lot of precepts, but it should be interesting, and hopefully this is edifying and eye-opening, and prayerfully you can receive this. All right, so let's start. As you can see on the screen, Sirach 33. We're just going to jump right into it. Verse 14, it says, "Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly." All right, so look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another. All right, so the whole Bible, right, is a script for a movie directed and produced by the highest power. We are literally living in a production that has already been written long, long ago. Everyone has their role. Some are more important than others, and we're just playing it out. The main theme of the movie is good versus evil. All right. It is the feature presentation. You know, you got the heroes versus villains, and the protagonist versus antagonist, the underdog versus the top dog, light and dark. And we are all typecasted to play a role. And some examples of this theme, are in lots of movies that we may have seen. Some people have seen, like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. Is always forces of light against the forces of darkness. Even the Lion King has a plot similar to, many themes in the scripture, the theme in the scripture. All right. In fact, a lot of big movies that humans create, that we, the people, men, the sons of men, are often inspired by the scriptures. The word is about the rise, meaning the Holy Scriptures. The Holy Scriptures is about the rise and fall of kingdoms, nations against nations, wicked versus righteous, good versus evil, two and two, one against another. This is the whole narrative of the Bible, the fight against evil. All right, I'm going to actually stay in Sirach, and I'm going to just go up to verse 10. It says, "And all men from the ground, and Adam was created of earth, and much knowledge the Lord hath divided them, and made their ways diverse." Okay, so many like to claim that there's only one race, right, which is the human race, in order to justify this unification of all people. But this diversity is intentional, and it's of the counsel of the Lord. The order that the Lord set up was to have divisions among men, among the nations of people through the Spirit. All right, the Lord deals with order, and everyone is not on the same level. The Lord's knowledge is high above man's reasoning for everybody, every nation, just for them just to be one people. This is just that love of the world spirit, the go along to get along spirit. This is that let's accept everybody for who they are and come together type spirit, when you think on a level of let's all be one people. So I'm sure you can think of many reasons why this would be against the holy nature of the highest power. Holy meaning set apart. All right, it's in his nature, all right, to be set apart. If everyone operating in the spirit of man, being one love, no matter creed, right, and to love everything and everybody, then there will be no standard. There will be no order of operations. All lines will be blurred with no boundaries. So there needs to be a balance. All right, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord. So this is why he deals with the light and the dark sides. Okay, he controls both sides. All right, verse 12, "Some of them hath he blessed and exalted, and some of them he sanctified and set near himself. But some of them hath he cursed and brought low and turned out of their places. All right, so he created some men to be holy and some people to be the wicked counterpart. All right. It says, as the clay is in the potter's hands to fashion it at his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him to render to them as liketh him best. All right. So he, the Lord does what he wants. Nobody asked to be created, but everyone was created because, for every work of the Lord, there is a purpose, and his will always be done at his leisure. Okay, so every work that the Lord has, that we see here on earth or in the heavens, right, is a purpose for it. All right. Matter of fact, let's go to Romans 9:20. This is, a lot of people's thought process when they think, why are we created? Why were we made? All right. So this is Romans 9:20. I'm gonna actually start in the NLT, and I'm gonna read it down to verse 22. It says, no, don't say that. Who are you, a mere human being, to argue with God? Should the thing that was created say to the one who created it, why have you made me like this? When a potter makes jars out of clay, doesn't he have the right to use the same lump of clay to make one jar for decoration and another to throw garbage into? All right. In the same way, I'm gonna actually read this to KJV. What if God, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? All right, so in this context of the verse is talking about the Israelites. All right, the Lord is going to have mercy upon whom he want to have mercy on. All right, so everybody has their role to play. You got some vessels fitted for destruction. All right, so but this is not to say that there are wicked Israelites that will go without being punished, because everybody reaps what they sow. But the Lord specifically created a certain nation of people, inherently honorable vessels, and vessels fitted to destruction. All right. So let's roll on over to Jeremiah real quick. I'm gonna just be going through a lot of different verses, but it's gonna make sense, Lord willing. All right, this is Jeremiah 10, verse 23. It says, O Lord, I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps. All right, verse 23 in the NLT. I know, Lord, that our lives are not our own. We are not able to plan our own course. All right, so the Lord is the producer, which is a producer is dealing with your works, producing fruit, and he is the director. All right, so he direct your steps. So we are actually just players, or not players, but we are playing. Yeah, we are players. We're playing a role. Okay. All right, so let's go on over to Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 10. It says, that which hath been is named already, and it is known as man. Hold on, I'm gonna read that again. It says, that which hath been is named already, and it is known that it is man, neither may he contend with him that is mightier than he. All right, so everybody was already named, meaning you was already appointed a role, and we just have to play our part. All right, so you can't fight against it. Even when you think you can just do your own thing, you really just playing right in his hand. So this phrase, to play right into someone's hands, means you do something which they want you to do, and which places you in their power, and that's exactly what's going on. or it means to unwittingly do exactly what one wants or needs in order for one's plans or schemes. All right, so this is the a part of the Lord's will. All right, His plan. Okay, let's go over to John chapter 10, verse 29. It says, "My Father, which gave them me, is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand." All right, so it's in His hand. Everything is in the Lord's hands, whether it is the omnipotence of His power to uphold and preserve, to punish, and ultimately in determining and controlling the destinies of men. All right, so the Lord shaped these things to show His power, and His counsel shall stand. So you have no choice but to surrender. You know. All right, let's go over to the Isaiah. This is Isaiah chapter 45, verse 9. In the NLT, I'm gonna read it. It says, "What sorrow awaits those who argue with their creator? Does a clay pot argue with its maker? Does the clay dispute with the one who shapes it, saying, 'Stop, you're doing it wrong'? Does the pot exclaim, 'How clumsy can you be?'" All right, so this is the Lord's motion picture production. All right, where else did man get the inspiration to create cinematics? Our life experience is a part of something bigger than us, and it inspires man, in turn to film the creation, reimagine to bring them to life. All right, in the same way that we are shaped and formed, you know, however the director and the producer they want the movie to go is up to them, and you just have to play the role. Okay, so you can't argue with the creator. You might as well just surrender to it. All right, surrender to the highest power. All right, so let's go over to Genesis, to the beginning. Genesis 3. This is the story of the fight between good against evil manifested through the Spirit. All right, so Genesis 3, I'm going to start at 14. It says, "And the Lord God said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon your belly shall you go, and dust shall you eat all the days of your life." All right, so this is a dark saying or an allegory. The spirit of that man who has the moniker serpent is cursed to be a base people forever. All right. Matter of fact, let me just prove that real quick, that the serpent is, is a man. Okay, yes. So serpent, you see Nahash, Nakash. You click the root word, you go to it. It says to practice divination, observe signs. All right, this is the Strong's definition. Whisper, a magic spell. Divine enchanter. All right, so it's basically a sorcerer, a witch. Okay, that's what that man, the serpent represents. All right, moving on. All right, so this verse, it says, "Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon your belly shalt thou go, and dust shall you eat all the days of your life." Now, if we refer back to Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 33:12, remember it says, "Some of them hath he blessed and exalted, and some of them he sanctified and set near himself, but some of them hath he cursed and brought low and turned out of their places." All right, so this is the manifestation of that. All right, let's go to verse 15. It says, "And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, And between your seed and her seed, it shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise, and thou shalt bruise his heel. All right. And it shall bruise your head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. All right. So this verse right here is the plot. All right. This is where the plot starts, and it starts to, and it's going to begin to thicken. All right. So the enmity between the seed, enmity is between the seed of the righteous and the seed of the wicked, between the serpent's nation and the nation of the sons of God. All right, the children of God. It is written in Proverbs 12 and 26, the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth him. All right, that's exactly what the wicked did, seduce Eve, or also represents Israel, right? Which is represented as, nations are also represented as women as well. But enmity means having a hostile mind or hatred. There will always be friction between these two families, right? Families of spirits, because the Most High set it up that way, one against another. This is why, you got racism, it exists. All right, this is why there's inherent nature against so-called white people and so-called black people alike. It's not really a skin color thing. This is deeper than skin. The hatred is deeply rooted through the spirit. All right. So the tone was set up from the beginning, and it's allegorical to the plot of the story: righteous versus the wicked, good versus evil, nation against nation. All right, this is where the foundation was established. All right, in Genesis 3 and 15, the beginning. All right, so this primordial beef is to play out all the way to the end, and the allegory continues further in the book of Revelation. All right. Now this verse is going to be the main one, another key verse that's going to be repeated throughout this whole video. Isaiah 46 and 10, declaring the end from the beginning and from the ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do my pleasure, all my pleasure. All right, he's going to do whatever he wish. His plan is already set up in place. He directed, he produced, everything is already set in motion. It just got to play out. All right, so the prophecy is playing out in its full maturation in the end, as it was declared from the beginning. All right, and I'm gonna show you that in Revelation. Let's go to Revelation verse 12, starting at 1. It says, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. All right, so now the sun and the moon represents knowledge and wisdom. The 12 stars represent the 12 tribes of Israel. The woman is Israel. All right. So verse 2, it says, and she being with child cried, travailing in birth, in pain to be delivered. All right. So this child represents YAHAWASHI, the seed of the righteous. All right. Verse 3, it says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, all right, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. All right, so that great red dragon is symbolizing the Roman Empire and their rulers, the nation of Edom. All right, keep in mind the word red as well. The nation of Edom, who happened to come out the womb, red all over, another great token of the Lord's work. All right, so these are tokens. All right, verse 4, it says, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. All right, so this enmity, as you can see, is being displayed all the way back from Genesis in full effect. The third part of the stars that were mentioned as being part of the crown of the 12 stars represents the Jews that were murdered during the time of King Herod, who was represented as you know, a member of the red dragon. All right. This was Herod the king's attempt to frustrate the prophecy of Yahawashi being born. Right now, if you go to Matthew 2 and then you read 3, matter of fact, let's just go there real quick just to show Matthew 2 and 3. It says, when Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. Wait, matter of fact, let me start at 2. It says, I'm gonna start at 1. It says, now when Yahawashi was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. And when Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, in Jerusalem with him, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he gathered all the chief, okay, yeah. So he was basically asking where he was born. This is the great red dragon, you know, standing before the woman, ready to devour her child as soon as it was born. All right, verse 16. Actually, we jump down here. It says, then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise man, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. All right, so that's going back to Revelations 12 and verse 4. That's, you know, drawing the third part of the stars, bringing them, you know, casting them to the earth, meaning, you know, killing them, and trying to devour the child. All right, the serpent, right, from the garden, and the dragon are of the same spirit, the nation of Esau, Edom. All right, the great red dragon. This is the enmity that was set up from the beginning. Adversity was manifested through mankind for the purpose of the Lord's will. All right, just like we remember Isaiah 46 and 10, declaring the end from the beginning, and from the ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. All right. So what if God, although willing to show his terrible wrath and to make his power known, was tolerated with great patience the objects of his wrath, which are prepared for destruction? All right, that's Romans 9 and 22 in the Amplified. I spoke about the beginning and the ending, right? Now, here is the story. I'm about to tell you the story, good against evil, and how everything was transpired to the end that is yet to come. All right, so, you know, how Esau came about. We got to go all the way back to Genesis in chapter 25, starting at verse 22. All right, so here we have, you know, Isaac is with Rebecca, okay, and she finally, well, she was able to have children, right? All right, so Rebecca, right, Isaac's wife, she has these 2 children, right? I'm gonna read it. All right, starting at verse 22. It says, and the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. All right, so she went and to ask the Lord about it, you know, saying, why is this happening to me? You know, why I have this struggle within my womb? And she literally basically had 2 opposing spiritual forces, good and evil, fighting within her inward parts. Okay. Verse 23, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from your bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. All right, so even though they, you know, you got these brothers from the same mother and father, the Lord, Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI separated their nationalities. He separated them by nation. All right, they became their own nations to be divided for the purpose of the Lord. The Lord has declared it that way. All right, it's nothing we can do about it. It's been written. All right, verse 24. It says, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the first came out red, all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. All right, so every part and nature of this event written and accounted for about this birth of twins is important, including the color of Esau. All right, so this is how you're going to stick with the plot. The plot is actually thickening. All right, remember, there's a purpose for every work of the Lord. The color red is a token or a sign. All right, this is the same red dragon being born into the world. Keep in mind. All right. Matter of fact, let's go to speaking of tokens. Let's go to Job 21, because Esau represents the wicked. All right, Job 21, verse 29. It says, have you not asked them that go by the way, and do you not know their tokens? That the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction, they shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. All right, remember, their vessels fitted for destruction. All right, and the Lord hath made all things for himself, yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil. That's Proverbs 16 and 4. Okay, now let's go back to Genesis 25. Verse 26, and the boys, no, verse 26, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. All right, so keep in mind, like, all right, the point is you have twin brothers that were conceived to further the plot of the beginning with the enmity of the wicked and the righteous. Esau and Jacob are also just a reincarnation of Cain and Abel, if you can receive it. All right, so God set this up. The Most High Power, Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, set this up as the key point of this movie. All right, this is a major prophetic part of this motion picture that the Most High set up. All right, good against evil, the saints versus the ain'ts. All right, Jacob and Esau are the main plot of the story to show his power. Don't let this go over your head. All right, it's written that good is set against evil. If you decide to disregard this main plot, then it makes it difficult to follow the storyline and prophecy. All right. All right. Matter of fact, let's go to Romans. All right, this is Romans 9. I'm gonna just jump around. This is 11. It says, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. All right, so he did the casting call for these children to play their role. All right, they weren't even born yet. It was through the Spirit. Okay, it was through the Spirit that they were going to be the forces of good and evil to play this role. All right, verse 17, it says, for the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. Okay, so the story doesn't end happily ever after for Israel until Esau is pulled down from rulership, which is the reason why the hand of Jacob was on the hill, because it's allegorical, it's symbolic of the spirit of prophecy. This is also a fulfillment of Genesis 3 and 15. It shall bruise your head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. All right. That hand on the heel is a token and signed declaration of the ending from the beginning. Remember, declaring Isaiah 46:10 said, declaring the end from the beginning. All right. Matter of fact, let's take a look at this picture real quick, and we're gonna read. But yeah, as you can see, the hand on the heel, the red, as you can see, red foot, that's Esau, and that's Jacob, right? All right, let's go to second Esdras. All right, this second Esdras 6. All right, this is, declaring the end from the beginning. All right, the counsel of the Lord is going to stand. All right, it says, then answered I and said, this is Esdras asking these questions. Esdras, the prophet, asking the angel of the Lord these questions. It says, then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? All right. Because, this earth, really, the world was really made for the Israelites. Okay, the elect, the Israelites, all right? The people, the righteous. All right, so basically Ezra is asking, how long a period of time will divide the ages? When will the first age end and the next age begin? All right, when are we going to rule? All right, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, Esau represents the end of this age, which is his heel, and Jacob represents the beginning of the new age, which is going to pull down and cast Satan to the dust. All right. So fast forward to the end. All right, let's go back to Revelations 12. All right, Revelations 12, verse 7. Fast forward to the end, right? The great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head, all right, represents the kings and the governments of the current world, the NATO and the EU, which eventually, their United Nations will fight against the Lord and his angels. All right. This is Revelations 12:7. All right, it says, and there was war in heaven. All right, and when I say United Nations, I mean like all the nations, that got the military might. The Lord really, he's gonna make them fight. You know what I'm saying? For the sake of prophecy, his will, his counsel. He wrote it this way. All right, this is Revelation 12:7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought in his angels. All right, so first of all, remember who the dragon is. The dragon is the people, the nation of Esau, Edom. All right, the war in heaven is basically the war of the worlds, aka Armageddon. Esau's Space Force military might and his so-called advanced technology, his sword, which he was blessed with, which it exalts them to the superpowers of the world, right, against the Lord of hosts, which includes the chariots that people know as UFOs and spaceships, is as it is written, right? Even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee. So the Lord, gave Esau, Edom, power on the left-hand side, right, to raise him up to show his power, right? He raised up a base, low, very low down, dirty people, that's in the dust. And he raised them up, and he's just going to bring them right back down to the dust. All right, he gave them all this advanced technology, these supersonic fast military planes and jets, and that's gonna basically be the war in heaven, okay? All the military, advanced military weapons, you know, they're gonna be fighting against, including all, the Space Force, the military, every military agency is gonna be going against YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, all right, when the Lord comes to visit the earth. All right, this is verse 8. It says, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. All right, so it says the dragon fought and his angels. All right, the dragon being Esau, Edom, who tries to be like God, to be like the Most High, as it is written. That's how how high his pride is. All right, so he got his angels too, which is his hosts, which is his army, because the Lord of hosts means the Lord of armies, of troops, and his armies is the angels. All right, and Esau, Edom, has his angels, which are his army, his military force. Okay. All right, it says, so yeah, and prevailed not, neither was there place found any more in heaven. All right, so the Lord is going to make them fight as he made Pharaoh and his army be led right into destruction. All right. I'm not going to go to, I'm going to just read. I have it written down Exodus 14 and 17 just to show you that the Lord is actually in control, of making them fight. And we know that this is spiritual Egypt, Babylon the Great. And this is where actually the military might is, Babylon the Great, America. Okay. They have they have that might and power in their military. It says this is Exodus 14 and 17. It says, and I, behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them, and I will get me honor upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, upon his chariots and upon his horsemen. All right, so he's talking about, the Lord is talking about basically causing the Pharaoh and his, the Egyptians to follow after the Israelites who went into the Red Sea, while it was parted. And, he made them come with all their chariots, their horses. Let me read that again. And I will get me honor upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts. All right, so the host, member, also means armies. So this is his angels, all right, upon his chariots. So he got chariots too, just like the angels in heaven. All right, and upon his horsemen. All right, so this is their army. All right, going down to 27. This is, and Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned his strength when the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it, and the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. Okay. So, as it is written, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings. All right. All right, let's go to verse 9 in Revelation 12. Revelation 12, verse 9, it says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. All right, so Esau, Edom, the spirit of that old serpent, also called the devil, aka slanderer, aka Satan, who was adverse to righteousness and who deceived the whole world with his pseudoscience and philosophies, will finally be brought down. His rulership over with. All right, so he's going to be cast out into the earth like Pharaoh, who was the king of the known world when he was cast into the sea. All right. Exodus 14 and 28 says, and the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the host of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them. All right, so in the same fashion. All right, let's read verse 10 in Revelations 12. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Hamashiach, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. All right, so the accuser of the brethren, of our brethren, is Esau, Edom, the wicked, the evil twin brother, being casted down or pulled down by the heel is in context of the previous verse, that old serpent, the devil and Satan. So remember, in order for this new kingdom to come, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven, right? In order for it to come in, the old world order has to be cast down. All right, Esau is the end of the age, and Jacob is the beginning of the age that follows. This is why it says, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God, because Esau, Edom, right, the wicked, is being taken out of his rulership, and we gonna get our strength back, okay? And we're gonna be saved. All right. So let's prove, that the evil twin brother, Esau, Edom, is synonymous with the moniker of devil. All right. Let's go to Psalms 50, verse 16. It says, but unto the wicked God saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in your mouth? All right, Esau, Edom is the wicked who claims subscription to the Holy Scripture, but does not live up and uphold the standard of the word which he is adverse to. All right, this is supposed to be the God-fearing nation, one nation under God. This is a God-fearing country, so-called, critically proclaimed by the founders and the colonizers. They like to feign themselves as subscribers of the Christian faith, right? Subscribers of this Bible, when this Bible actually condemns them. All right, this testimony is against them. All right, this is verse 19. It says, thou givest your mouth to evil, and your tongue frameth deceit. All right, Esau, Edom, the spirit has that spirit of the old serpent. All right, who, he was very deceitful. He deceived Eve. All right, verse 20, thou sittest and speakest against your brother. Thou slanderest your own mother's son. Okay, so a slanderer and accuser is defined as a devil. Okay, an adversary, an enemy, or whoever opposes himself to the other is Satan. So the devil and Satan are interchangeable in association with, men. All right, so it's not talking about the spiritual, the angel Satan. All right, it's talking about Esau, Edom. He's the one who is the slanderer and the accuser, which is a devil. That's what that means. All right. All right, let's go to Job 18 real quick. Verse 5. Yeah, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. The steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. All right, so the wicked, who is synonymous with the evil twin brother, is playing right in the hand of the Lord, like a chess piece, right? Destined to be casted down. All right. All right, this is Isaiah 14, verse 14. This is the pride of Esau, Edom. This is, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Right? So, he Even he got his own angels too, right? It says, yet thou shall be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. All right, that's him being casted down. All right, to the dust, brought down to the dust. All right, part of the counsel of the wicked is to compete with the Most High and try and overcome the Most High. All right, this is what they believe. All right, let's stay in Isaiah and go to verse 40. Chapter 47, verse 12. It says, "Stand now with your enchantments." Matter of fact, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it in the NLT. It says, "Now use your magical charms, use the spells you have worked at all these years. Maybe they will do you some good. Maybe they can make someone afraid of you. All the advice you receive has made you tired." All right. Where are all your astrologers, those stargazers who make predictions each month? Let them stand up and save you from what the future holds. Right? So the Lord, he's taunting them. And he's basically telling him, his advances are futile and hopeless. The Lord's calling the wicked out. He's playing with their heads to have them thinking that they had an upper hand. Esau, Edom, the wicked, plays the part perfectly, as his role also includes being the mad evil scientist who has power on the left-hand side, right, to do enchantments, to bring forth all these adverse inventions that breed hell and death on the earth, that makes the earth a wilderness. He's tainted and tainted the skies, the water, the food, every part of life. He basically he's about death. All right, these attempts to try and squirm and wiggle out of this is parabolic of Jacob and Esau fighting in the womb. However, in the end, Jacob is on his heel, and there is nothing that can save them from their assured destruction. All right, so this is, all in this, his counsels, stargazers, monthly prognosticators, sorceries and enchantments. That's him squirming and wiggling and fighting, just like he was in the womb. He's just doing it outside the womb, in full maturation through the spirit. All right, so remember all that slandering and oppressing the wicked has done to his brother. All right, so now through the spirit, part of pulling down Esau by the heel is first by reproving and prophesying against his kingdom. The righteous, the remnant, has been set up through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI to pull down these wicked strongholds, and it is tearing down Esau's rulership. And the fact that I'm able to bring this truth out and to pull down his socially constructed lies is further proof that we are in the end. All right, let's go over to back to Psalms 50. All right, this Psalms 50, verse 21. It says, "These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as yourself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before your eyes." All right, so really, the fact that Esau, Edom, he's able to do all of this wickedness and, be able to get away. He so-called thinking that he's getting away with all these things. He thinking that the Lord is on his side because he's got it so good right now. All right, but the saga of the fight continues with the good, or the righteous, right, using the word of the Lord, which is a sword against the sword of Esau. This is a battle in the spirit. One side, the righteous is using the word of Yahweh, which is the spirit of prophecy, to tell these devils their time is up. On the other side, you got the wicked using his carnal sword, which he was blessed with, which also includes his new speak, pseudoscience, his misinformation, disinformation, weaponized music, predictive programming, and propagandized media outlets to come up against the highest and his chosen. These are all of his enchantments and sorceries that he labored in thinking it would profit him. However, he is delusional and wearied in his efforts. His fighting is as if he's beating the air. He cannot do anything against the counsel of the Lord. The word is too sharp for them, and they are cut deep to the heart. So the fight has gone from the womb and manifested to what we see today. It's always on site, static. When two opposing forces come together, it's a lot of static in the air. So how would you? Because how would you feel if some men in your kingdom who were once under your indoctrination, right, the lies and the deceit, and they tell you that your rulership is through, and soon we are going to rule over you? How would you feel about that? All right. But like it says in Acts 5:38, it says, "And now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of God, ye cannot overthrow it, lest haply ye be found even to fight against God." And that's exactly what this evil mad science is thinking. He think that he can actually box with God, right? Eventually, he's going to come after the Israelites with great wrath by using physical force, because the words of the Lord are too sharp for him, and it is frustrating his purpose to complete his new world enterprise. Okay? And according to Revelation 12:17, right? Matter of fact, let's go to it. Revelation 12:17. According to Revelation 12:17, right? The dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of YAHAWASHI HaMashiach. So eventually he's going to come after in his wrath, because this word is too sharp for him. His testimony is against him, so he's going to have to use physical force, his blessing, which is the sword, and things are going to get ugly. He only got a short little time. That's why he's trying to do all of that. All right. But guess what? Back to Job 18:8. "For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare. The jinn shall take him by the heel, and the robber shall prevail against him." All right. So Esau cannot escape, not by the skin of his teeth, and certainly not by the heels of his feet. And it's only going to take 1 hour. Okay. All right, let's move on to Malachi real quick. All right. This is Malachi 1:2. "I have loved you, saith the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord, yet I loved Jacob." All right. "And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for dragons of the wilderness." Okay. So Esau, Edom, the wicked, is intentionally always having some form of relation to dragons, which is the embodiment of chaos and untamed nature, very violent and combative. All right, verse 4, it says, "Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever." All right, in an NLT, it says, "Esau's descendants in Edom may say, we have been shattered, but we will rebuild the ruins. But the Lord of heaven's armies replies, they may try to build, but I will demolish them again. Their country will be known as the land of wickedness, and their people will be called the people with whom the Lord is forever angry. All right, so the Lord let them build back during the Renaissance era, which is synonymous of, resurgence. That word Renaissance is synonymous with resurgence, and return is which, they have returned and built the desolate places. That classical spirit relating to the ancient Greeks and the Romans, especially in their art, architecture, and literature, even philosophy. All right, this is that return, that Renaissance era. You know, they brought back that same spirit of the Greeks and the Romans, and it basically got regenerated, reincarnated. Nothing is new under the sun. And if they are called the border of wickedness, that means that the wicked begins with Esau, Edom. Every person within the nation of Edom are considered to play the part and be the stock of the wicked. All right. Like it says in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right. That's a dark saying about the earth being given to the Esau, Edom, who is the wicked. The wicked. All right. Matter of fact, let's see. How did he even get this earth into his hand? All right, let's go to Genesis 27, verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, matter of fact, I'm gonna read it in the NLT. Esau pleaded, but do you have only one blessing? Oh, my father, bless me too. Then Esau broke down and wept. Right? And Isaac, it says, finally his father Isaac said to him, you will live away from the riches of the, you will live. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just read it in a KJV. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, your dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. Okay, this prophecy is currently playing out today. All right, the evil twin brother received his blessing by reigning over the whole earth. Everything that the dew touches, and to live in all the best, beautiful places on the earth. All right, Genesis 27 and 40. And by your sword, in the NLT, you will live by your sword and you will serve your brother. But when you decide to break free, you will shake his yoke from your neck. All right. And of course, that prophecy is played out, right? Shaking the yoke from his neck, breaking the yoke from his neck. Right now, he's ruling, right? Because he shook break the yoke from the neck, right? He's not under his brother, right? He's not under his brother right now. He returned during the Renaissance, right? Out of that bottomless pit, okay? To come out and deceive the whole world again. All right, the wicked were blessed with the power to live by conquering and murdering and raping and pillaging by his carnal weapons of warfare. All right, so that's why it says you live by the sword. All right. And remember, even in Revelations, he who killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. Live by the sword must be killed with the sword. I think I'm paraphrasing it, but basically, live by the sword, you die by the sword. All right. Verse 41, it says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days are of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. Okay, so once again, the prophecy is still in fulfilling effect with the hatred of Jacob. That's the enmity spoken of in Genesis 3. Esau's whole life has been dedicated to kill his brother and try and get the birthright and bless him back, because it was way better than the consolation prize that he received to console his grief, right? Isaac just gave him just like, here you go. You can hear, I got this one blessing, you know. It was a consolation prize, all right, reward. Now, keep in mind that, you know, this hatred, this is on a national scale, the nation against nation. Esau came out first, so he gets his blessing first, and then Jacob gets his blessing afterward in full. Jacob's blessing, which is, you know, Israel, is eternal. Esau's is temporary. Jacob's blessing is spiritual and includes immortality, and Esau's blessing is carnal. And even now, he is attempting to try his own way toward immortality with his left-hand technology. So this is playing out on a larger scale. His spirit, along with his descendants, is set against Jacob forever as an adversary, which is another name for Satan. It's Esau's family tree against the Israelites' family tree. And even though the earth was given to the hand of the wicked, the Lord still has power over who controls, seeing that it is the Lord's major motion picture. As it is written in the script, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. That's Sirach 10:4. All right. Now let's go to Amos real quick. Amos 1:11. It says, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. So the spirit of an Edomite will always be evil and full of hatred and malice and murder. Edom's whole life revolves around killing off the children of God because he is still upset. He was made for this, though. All these things happen through the spirit, and to this day, many of the Israelites constantly ask, why do they hate us so much? Is it because the color of my skin? No, it's deeper than skin and even more deeper than bone marrow. Okay, it's through the spirit. All right, let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 35 real quick, verse 3. It says, and say unto it, thus saith, oh, this is the prophesying against, the Lord said prophesy against Mount Seir, which is Esau, Edom. Son of man, set your face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Give them this message from the sovereign Lord. I'm reading this in the NLT. It says, I am your enemy, O Mount Seir, and I will raise my fist against you to destroy you completely. I will demolish your cities and make you desolate. Then you will know that I am the Lord. Then you will know that I am Yahawah. It says, your eternal hatred for the people of Israel led you to butcher them when they were helpless, and I had already punished them from all their sins. All right, so Esau is the type to oppress you even at your lowest point. He kicked us while we're on the ground trying to get up. Even when we try to have a little prosperity, he likes to shut it down. And, you know, we can't even be too happy around this devil. All right. Verse 6. As surely as I live, says the sovereign Lord, since you show no distaste for blood, I will give you a bloodbath of your own. Your turn has come. All right. So the evil man of sin is a bloodthirsty devil and will surely be trodden down in a winepress. He was fitted for destruction. When you see the singular word Jacob, by the way, and Esau, you know, when you see them mentioned in the scripture, especially in prophecy, they are placements as metonymies. All right. Let's look it up real quick. I just want to make this simple. A metonymy. Our metonymy is a figure of speech in which one word or phrase is substituted for another with which it is closely associated as it is in the use of. Okay. Uh, 2, it says a trope in which the word is put out for another that suggests it. All right. Okay, 3, it says the use of a single characteristic or name of an object to identify an entire object or related object. All right, so you can use this one, you can use the name, right, to describe the whole nation. All right, so the names represent, for their respective nations and descendants. It's not talking about the individual person. It's used in a broad sense. When the Lord addresses Esau, Edom, or Jacob, or Israel, he is doing so as to address the nation itself or the family, and not just the actual progenitor. Sometimes the name of cities and mountains and beasts are used as metonymies for placeholders of actual nations, and that's just one of many of the figurative, parts of the figurative languages of the Bible. All right, in the scriptures, there's a lot of different literary devices used. It's the Hebraic thought. All right, let's go over to Exodus and I'm gonna close it up. This is Exodus 17, verse 14. It says, and the Lord said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. All right, so Amalek is a descendant of Esau, Edom. All right, one of the chief family of the Edomites, in which the Lord have sworn to have generational war. Right, matter of fact, verse 16. I'm gonna read verse 16. It says, for he said, because the Lord has sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. All right, so hold on. It says in the NLT, he said they have raised their fist against the Lord's throne. So now the Lord will be at war with Amalek generation after generation. Is that not, them trying to box with God, to box with the Most High, right? Like I said previously, they raise their fist. They trying to box with the Most High. You feel me? All right, so basically, Amalek is the chief family of the Edomites, in which the Lord has sworn to have generational war until, he cuts them off forever eventually. All right, like in Numbers, if we go to Numbers 24, this Numbers 24 and 20, it says, and when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. Okay, so, and let's just go to Amalek just for good measure, so you can see who Amalek is. It says, son of Eliphaz by his concubine Timnah, grandson of Esau and progenitor of a tribe of people in southern Canaan. All right, so, but he's the grandson, he's a descendant of Esau, he's the grandson of Esau. And so, yeah, this is Esau's posterity, okay? And Amalek today actually is the main, people who have the earth in their hands, okay? The so-called you wish people, right? They wish they had got the blessing and the birthright, but they don't, okay? This is Numbers 24, verse 20. I'm gonna read it again. It says, and when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. All right, so even today, the good set against evil, which are represented as two nations, One is Israel the righteous and the other is the wicked Esau Edom. The main characters of this story is the elect of Israel from greatest to least, who plays the superhero chosen role, versus the elite of the wicked Esau Edom from greatest to least, who plays the supervillain vessel fitted for destruction. The Lord had these things written as a memorial for us to remember that the remembrance of Esau Edom will eventually perish from earth forever. Earth forever. As of now, the generational war continues till the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. All right, and I'm just give y'all one more. I'm gonna give y'all a spoiler alert for this this production. All right, the work of the Lord. This is the work of the Lord, right? The production. All right, this is Revelations 15:2. This is the spoiler alert. We got the script. This is the end. All right, let's see what's going to happen in the end. It says, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. Okay. So in the end, death and hell is gonna be swallowed up, right? Esau, Edom, and the Israelites are gonna get victory, right? And in the end, Esau, Edom, he's gonna be pulled down, by his heels, gonna be brought down to the dust. Gonna have to sit in the dust, all right. And Jacob is gonna win in the end. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. This has been the story of good against evil. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Shalom.